Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to another PlayStation 5 review. Today's review is for Iron Harvest from Deep Silver, the real-time strategy game that is set in an alternate universe, or an alternate reality should I say. It's set in the 1920s with these huge mechanized machines. Pretty cool concept in actual fact, and you are thrust straight into the story. As a young girl initially, and then a young lady that is thrust into the war in order to defend her country. As always, I never really want to get too deep into the story on these things. I always like you guys to experience it for yourself. And in actual fact, surprisingly, the story here is actually quite deep and immersive. And at times, you know, it tries to give you a little bit of an emotional kick here and there. So I do applaud them for trying to give something of a relevant, interesting story. But really, in regards to real-time strategy, is that really what we're all here for? The idea here with this game is the gameplay. And real-time strategy fans out there, rest assured, I think you're going to be pretty pleased with this game. Now, I am a fan of strategy games, and anybody that watches my content or my reviews knows I'm a fan of strategy games. Primarily, turn-based strategy is the games that tend to float my boat. I used to play a lot of real-time strategy games in my youth. Command and Conquer, even Dune. Gosh, do you remember Dune all them years ago? That was a real-time strategy game. And they were hugely popular in the 90s, real-time strategy, and it's become a bit of a niche gameplay market now. But I have to say, this game ticks all the real-time strategy boxes. You are introduced early into the game to like quite a weird introductory level, I suppose, where you play the main character essentially when she's a little girl, and you go into like a snowball fight. It teaches you the mechanics of the game and the basics of the game just by doing this little thing. We're having a snowball fight with a load of other local boys. And essentially then, once the game moves on and you get into the thrust of the game, it consists of basically, and I'll try my best to explain it, you'll go into each level or map and there'll be certain objectives for you to complete. It might be take out these enemy forces at certain points on the map and conquer them all. There are some maps it might be a case of getting from point A to point B with protecting a train or something like that. On other maps it might be very command and conquer in a sense of there's some resource collecting and base building that needs to take place. So you've got to establish bases on the map and build up your allied forces strong enough to take over that complete map and wipe out the enemy. So there's a number of different objectives depending on the map, and it does actually keep it quite varied, but the combat is essentially always pretty much the same. You've got ground units consisting of, you know, the usual thing. You've got your grenadiers, your riflemen, engineers, a couple of like hero units here and there, and then you've got these huge mechanized machines that essentially are tanks. And they are very, very powerful, difficult to take down, and will take out groups of enemies. And they're really actually very, very cool. When you're walking across the environments, they will just knock down buildings, and it's really cool how they do that. They'll just walk through buildings, and you hear all the rumble crashing down. I think they've actually done a really, really good job of actually, even though it's real-time strategy and you can zoom in and zoom out, and when you do zoom in, some of the detail here is actually quite impressive on the maps. Some of the cutscenes kind of let it down in regards to graphics. There's not a great deal of detail on some of the character models, but it's almost like a washed cartoony look, and I actually really like all of the aesthetic here, including the cutscenes for the most part. And I do actually think the game looks really, really good. For a real-time strategy game, I think it looks really, really nice. So you can control these units, and you can control them singular or collectively. And it just by the touch of a button, basically. Very, very easy. You can left one and right one through your units, tell them where you want them to go, or you can basically kind of deselect and select all units and just go en masse. And that's generally the tactic I've used an awful lot in this game. If you see like an enemy stronghold or something, I just kind of select all the units I've got, all the units I might have built or created to that point. I just en masse attack it. However, you need to remember, especially on a map where you've got bases of your own, you need to keep that base protected as well, because there will be enemy forces that will take back parts of the map. And by that I mean there are certain parts of the map where you need to kind of take over, like oil refineries and iron mines to give yourself resources to build. You take them over. It takes about 30 seconds to kind of take one over. And if you leave it unprotected, there's a chance that the enemy forces will, if they come across that, take it back over to make their forces stronger. So it's for you to basically sweep through the maps and take control of each map and making sure that you have enough forces to defend the areas that you want to defend. As I've said, if you're fans of Command and Conquer, there are aspects of this game will feel immediately familiar to you. There's also quite a few things you can do here. You've got the main campaign, which I'll be honest is where I've spent the majority of my time. I really do enjoy the campaign. I like the story. I like what it's trying to do. But you do have other things as well. You can do missions, as like, standalone missions, or there's even multiplayer. Now, the missions consist of the usual kind of things. You've got skirmish and challenges and multiplayer. You've got, essentially, you can have the option of a quick match, either 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or a ranked or custom match. I'll be honest, I've tried to have a multiplayer match just to try it for the review. I couldn't find a match, so there's not enough players right now, player base. That doesn't mean there won't be, but there certainly isn't right now. There's even customizational options here for the game, in a sense of, while you're in game, while you unlock achievements in the game, you will earn coin if you go into the menu, unlock coin. It's not microtransactions or anything, it's all earned in game, and you can then customize things like portraits. You see right at the bottom the portraits of the soldiers. You can customize those portraits, the frames, customize the skins of your tanks, all that kind of stuff, just by unlocking coins within the game, if that's what you like to do, to customize this, that and the other. To be honest, I didn't even realize it was an option till at least 15 hours playing the game, and I was just in the menu and I thought, oh, what's that down there? And I had a look and I saw that I'd unlocked quite a few things through achievements. It gave me coins and I had a little go at customizing this and that. So just know that it is an option as well. In regards to how the game runs, I've had very few issues in regards to how the game runs, although I have had a couple of crashes. So maybe there's a patch that'll give it a little bit more stability. And like I say, I'm playing on a PlayStation 5. But other than that, I've had no freezes or glitches or anything like that for the most part. And the game runs pretty nice, I have to say. So, real-time strategy fans, we kind of starve these days for games like this, and this is in many ways old school. It delivers everything it says on the tin. It looks nice, plays nice, it's fun, and there's some really, really cool stuff going on in the game. So yeah, if you've been waiting to pick this one up, and it's not getting a lot of fanfare at the minute, this one, it's kind of been released stealthily. No one seems to know about it or talking about it, but it's a pretty solid release, and I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you found the review useful. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel, of course, very, very soon.